Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's bench day. I've not normally done a video like this, but I figured why not? Let's see how it goes. I've been using EvolveAI, getting ready for drug tested national tournament, USPA, in Vegas. June 27th is the day I left, but it's that whole week. But I'm on week 5 of EvolveAI, week 5 or week 6. I don't know, I'll show some screenshots, but I'm on day 5. I have 5 days a week that I'm lifting. And it's got me doing a touch and go bench at an RPE 10 for 1 on my benchmark set. So I figured, hey, let's record it. So let's see what I get. Here we go.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that?
Here we go. Let's warm it up. Some creaky. All right, 15 for 155. It's a good warm-up. I like to get the blood flowing. Takes me a while to get warmed up for bench. Okay, we're gonna go 205. Sometimes I skip 205 and I'll go, it just depends. So today I have my 55s. Sometimes my 55s are loaded up on my deadlift bar and I just keep it loaded. So then I use 45s. If I use 55s, I end up going 155, and then I'll typically go 205. If I use 45s, I'll typically jump to 225. But anyway, let's see how 205 feels. Feels pretty good. We'll see. I'm using the Kabuki Strength 250K power bar, electroless nickel. I love this bar. If you're curious, check out my first impression video, but I really like lifting with this bar. I like the Rogue Ohio power bar too, and I use that a lot. In fact, I use that to deadlift today with, but man, it's a fun bar. Okay, let's move to 235. Okay, I think I said let's move to 235. It's 245. I was an English major. Plate math is hard enough with 45s. Spent my whole life getting used to adding it up with 45s with the 45-pound bar. Now I have bars that are 60 pounds and 55 pounds.
I'm not a smart man.
75 pounds, wrap open trap bar with the handles. But this is 245. I'm going to use a belt. I haven't always used a belt for bench. To be honest, I don't think it's necessary. In fact, up until recently, I didn't use a belt in competition for bench, but I've been using it a little bit just because it reminds me to stay tight. I just put it on its loosest setting, but it just gives me a reminder just to stay tight. So let's stay tight. See what we get here. Probably go maybe 5 good ones if it feels good. Just warming my way up for a 1 rep touch and go max. I don't know. Felt a little heavier than it should have, but it is what it is. Moving on up. Okay, we're gonna go 295. I feel like I used to be a lot better at touch and go bench, where you can kind of cheat, you know, with your ass, because that's all I did. Not cheat, but I've always had a pretty controlled bench. I don't bounce it. I've never really bounced it. But if all you do is touch and go, you get really good at kind of riding the rebound, you know, off your chest. And since I power lift over the last year, I've started to do, when I do competition bench, which I do once a week, I make sure I do a competition pause every single rep. Even if I'm doing a set of 8, every one I'm pausing, coming up, pausing. And then a lot of times for my accessories, I do like 2 count pause or 3 count pause. And I feel like that's really helped me get a bigger bench for competition style. I feel like it's helped me get stronger, you know, hit over 340 in competition at 198. But I don't practice touch and go very much anymore. And so when I hit 365, my guess is it was an ugly, I have it on video somewhere. It's on one of my shorts on the channel. You can find it. But it's an ugly rep. But anyway, let's try 295. Probably now I'm just going to hit singles. Might hit this for a double, but we're just going to go singles until I fail. Thank you, spotter arms. Make sure I have it loaded equally. I've made that mistake before. That scares the crap out of you. Came up okay. Okay, so we have 315 on. I want to use some Iron Rebel elbow cuffs. These are illegal to use in competition. Any kind of elbow wrap is illegal for bench press in USPA and USA Powerlifting and most of the federations. But I like to use this for heavier weights when I'm training because it saves me. It's not going to give you much of a rebound anyway. I wish it was legal, but it's not. The other thing is when you wrap in competition, if you use the thumb loop and you wrap, Dave Tate at Elite FTS taught me this. If you use that, you have to pull it out because that loop can't touch the bar. It's also not a great way to wrap, so I utilize it, the thumb loop, as an anchor, and then I wrap across the top of my hand and then over my hand so that I have more support so my hand doesn't move back, and then the loop, I never have to worry about forgetting to move it. So I just over the hand like that, and it just provides more stability. Okay, see how 315 goes. It feels heavy today. Ah, it feels so heavy. Yeah, there's no way I'm beating my 365 today, but whatever. Okay, so some people have asked me before what I use to bench in terms of shoes. Right now I just have Hey Dudes on, so not a lot of support. It doesn't really, I can bench in anything. To me, it's not like squat or deadlift where you need some fancy shoe. In competition, I use my Chucks for bench just because I have since I started my very first meet. But I don't think it matters. But I'm the kind of bencher too. I don't get a ton of leg drive. I know a lot of people swear by leg drive, but my feet up bench is surprisingly close to my regular bench. The only difference with feet up is that it's awkward because you're not as, you feel like you might, when you have heavy weight, like over 300, I feel like I'm going to fall off the bench because I'm not anchored to the ground. But really, leg drive, I don't know. I can do it in any shoe, and I don't get what I think a lot of people think you should get out of leg drive. We're going to go 325. Here we go. I hope this goes up. I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't. Like I said, my last meet, I hit 341.7 pounds, whatever that is in kilos. And I hit it easy. Man, I had some left in the tank. It was just a really good bench day. But in hindsight, I could have gone up one more. But hindsight's 20/20. Here's 325, touch and go. You'll notice too, when I bench, I try to make sure I get the rep fully before putting it back on the monolift arms or the J cups, because people die every year benching, and it's because they drop it on their head. It's because this is 325 pounds. There's a spot when it's right over my head. And people tend to, especially on a tough lift, they tend to get it and they're aiming back toward the J cups because they want to just be able to dump it. It's just not smart. Especially for me, I lift alone almost always. I have these spotter arms dialed in, so there's no reason for me to struggle with it over my head. For me, if I'm gonna miss, it's gonna be where I'm coming down, and I can lay them on the spotter arms and squirm my way out. So I make sure I finish the rep fully, even if it's a grinder, and then come back, because I don't want to drop it on my head. And I see a lot of people, they'll come up on the rep, it's a tough rep, and they start moving to the J cups. That's a bad move. Don't do that. Anyway, that's a little tip by Jack. All right, 325 moved. Let's keep moving up. We have 335 out of 55, 245s makes 335. See how that goes. I feel like I'm getting close to being towards the 1 rep max. It's not going to be anywhere near my 365. My bench is taking kind of an odd up and up. It's had some ups and downs over the last year and some change. I went into USPA Nationals last summer. My bench press felt great, and I anticipated hitting in the 350s. My opener was 319. And it came up crooked. I've never had that happen. I actually got a red light. I got two white, so it counted. But man, that was a confidence crusher. You know, 319 just barely came up, and I ended up going up to 332 and change. And that rep was much better, and I got it. And then I missed my third rep, so I ended up with 332. And I thought I was going to be in the 350s, but then my last meet this year to qualify for nationals this summer was the meet I hit 341.7 and I had some in the tank. And before that, I actually tore my pec. Not off the bone, but I got an MRI and it was torn, and I was out for a couple months, had to miss a couple meets. So I had to take time from that. But now I feel good again. So we'll see. Anyway, enough talking. This is 335. Come on. Okay. Got it. Felt decent speed, but the other thing with this bar, man, you do not need chalk when you're benching. With this Kabuki strength power bar, with the electroless nickel, I can't imagine a world for bench press would you'd ever need chalk with this. Ever. It's just it's a very comforting feeling when you're lifting heavy. Okay, let's keep moving on up. I don't know what to go to next. Do I jump straight to 350? Do I? I think I'm gonna. Okay. 350. What's nice about, for me, having equipment I can trust is I lift alone, and I'm about to lift something that I could potentially miss the lift. And if I do, I'm 100% confident in the Rogue spotter arms. I've also dialed in the height. Spotter arms don't do very good if they're not set to the correct height. I've dialed it in so that it's not touching on a normal rep, but if I fail it, I can get out from under it. I have confidence in the bar, whether I'm using my Rogue Ohio bar or my Rogue Ohio power bar or my Kabuki power bar or my Texas bar, any of my bars. It's nice to know that they're high quality and the tensile strength is such you're not going to have to worry about anything. So I just feel pretty good about lifting alone. People ask me a lot, aren't you? Shouldn't lift alone. Well, I got a good setup to where I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm also confident in my technique to where I'm not going to drop it on my head. Which I think is important. All right, 350. Let's see how this goes. Not by much. Not by much. You notice so I struggled on that. But at the end, I really made sure I finished the rep before going back. So I'll probably stop there. I'll probably put 350 for now as my 1 rep max for touch and go in the program. So it can give me drop sets based on that, because that's where I'm at today. It's also like 10 at night. Could I get more? Maybe. You know, if I got some smelling salts and put myself up, I'm sure not going to get 365. And that's the other thing. Some days you just have it. Some days you don't. And I'm at the end of a week, man. Coming up on a deload week too. I've been hitting the last 5 weeks really hard. So my body's pretty fatigued. You know, I'm doing Mondays hypertrophy with feet up bench, so sets a 12 at 225. Tuesday's my competition bench day, so I do a benchmark set at a set of 2 or set of 1 at RPE 8. Sometimes it's 2 at RPE 8, and then the back down sets. And then I have another bench day in here, and I also do shoulders and tries. And so sometimes you're not always gonna have a PR day. So we'll put 350 in there. We'll call that good. We'll see what it gives me for my back down. Okay, so now I'm in EvolveAI in the app. You can see touch and go, 1 set. I go to enter my 350, 1 rep at an RPE of 10. It defaulted to 5 reps, and if you look up there, it shows 1 set by 5 reps at an RPE 10. So I totally just missed it. I don't know how I misread that. Maybe I just wanted to go heavy. But when I entered that, it took all my drop sets off because of the high intensity. When I took that out, my 3 drop sets come back up. So it was pretty obvious I made a mistake there. Whatever, I still entered it. I just didn't do any other sets. And then I just moved to pull-ups and then finished the rest of my workout. So rookie mistake by me. Okay, so in hindsight, looking at what I did, I was not supposed to go RPE 10 for a set of 1. I didn't read it very closely. It was pretty clear when I erased it out and went back. I was supposed to do 5 reps at an RPE 10 for my touch and go, for it to give me my drop sets. I went all the way up to 350. A lot of intensity. Put that in 350 for an RPE 10 for 1, and it took away all my drop sets. So I kind of shit the bed on it.
Human being had actually dropped a grumpy.
Maybe I just wanted to lift heavy tonight, because it's past 10, but I don't know. Anyway, that was my bench day for EvolveAI. I got some other stuff to do, but I'm going to cut the video there. So hope you enjoyed this kind of video. I haven't made very many of these. We'll see if it gets some views or not. But if you did stick around till the end, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. And until next time, adios.